How is everybody doing tonight? I am trying this again, so somebody could let me know if you can see me, you can hear me, all that stuff, and we're not having that weird echo that we had last time. The problem should be resolved, but you never know. Oh, okay. Well, now I've got another dilemma. Maybe I cannot see the comments. So let's give this a try here. Man, there's just always got to be something. With with all this technology crap, and I just suck at it. Well, that's not doing me any good either. All right, one more thing here. I may not be able to see the comments, which is weird because I know that I saw them last time. Wow, this is super frustrating. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is here. Why? Oh, wait a minute. No, that didn't work either. Damn it. And I don't get it. It showed it the other day. Why isn't it showing it today? But anyway, yeah. So hopefully it's all working, and that you can hear me, and it's not being weird or anything like that. Um, but what I wanted to do is the very first guitar amplifier that I ever got. Uh, when I started playing, I played on an acoustic guitar for a couple of years before I got an electric guitar, and the electric guitar that I got, it was a sorry, I'm trying to walk and chew gum at the same time, and I apparently don't have the coordination skills to do this. Oh, I can see what the problem says. The chat is disabled. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. Oh man, this is super aggravating. I don't know why the chat is disabled. It doesn't. Okay, and that's not it either. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I may have. thought I may have found it, but apparently I haven't. Anyway, this the first guitar that I got, it was a Hondo Les Paul copy, and it was a complete piece of crap. But what's kind of ironic is those guitars are worth like a lot of money now for some reason. I don't know what the deal is, but I've seen them go on eBay for a lot longer, or a lot more money than I know what my parents paid for it. Anyway, I no longer have that. I kind of wish I did, just because it would be kind of cool to have it. I'm not going to go buy one. Oh, man. This is so weird. I don't understand why. Why I can't change the damn to where there's a so you guys can leave, you know, like send me messages and stuff. This is super screwed up, man. Oh, I think I fixed it. It appears that there is chat now, so I guess anything that you've already typed ain't gonna come up, but I guess you can start sending in messages now. Anyway, I apologize for all this. And I appreciate those of you who've stuck around through me, you know, trying to figure out how to do this crap. But anyway, yeah, so this amp I got, just a little tiny thing, had a small, hi Silvio, it just had a small speaker in it. It looks like it's probably about an 8-inch speaker. And keep in mind, this is like 1984 probably, and little amplifiers back then. If you had anything smaller than a 12, it usually sounded pretty crappy. So anyhow, this thing didn't sound really great, but I didn't have anything, you know, to compare it to. Anyhow, I played through this thing for a long time, and then I, you know, eventually upgraded. But I managed to hang on to it, and then about, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago. Hi, Jersey. My oldest son, I got him a guitar for Christmas. I thought, you know, he'd want to play guitar, and so I let him take this amp. And anyhow, he didn't really have any interest. He never did anything with it. And anyhow, he returned the amp to me. I don't know, probably a month ago. And I thought this would be kind of cool to do this, you know, to show you guys the amp, and we could play through it and hear what. The closed captioning's on? Good Lord. How do you change that? Anyway, yeah, so he brings back the amp. I thought it'd be kind of cool to show you guys, and just hear, you know, kind of what it sounds like, because like I said, I haven't played through it for, I mean, when I gave it to him, I didn't play through it. I just gave it to him because I'm assuming it still works. I guess there's a possibility that it's just not going to work when I plug it in, but we are going to find out. And I am trying to see in here how you turn the captioning off and I cannot seem to find it. Why would it default to have the captioning on? That's freaking stupid. Huh. Oh, well, that's good to know. I just found another setting that I've been trying to find. And I cannot see how to turn off the captioning, so I don't know what the heck to do. Yeah, so anyhow, let's check this thing out. So what it is, hold on, I gotta get back to my other screen here. So what it is, and I have no idea why the thumbnail came out sideways like that. I'm not sure what it is because I just took a picture of it with my phone. But anyway, this is what it is. So it's the brand is Gorilla, and this is a GG25, and I'm sure GG probably stands for Gorilla Guitar 25 because I think it's a 25 watt amp. It used to have like a little like a badge down here that said Gorilla, but it fell off a long time ago. Like I said, this amp, I've had this amp since about 1984, so it's pretty old, and it's it's pretty beat up. And, let's see what it says here on the back. It says it's a 50 watt, and just a regular plug on it. But the plug got broken. Like I don't remember what happened to it a long time ago. So my dad put this on here, a long time ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. But anyway, yeah, it's just got the single speaker. It's got a DC 12 volt DC port on it, so I guess you could like run it off of a battery or something like that. The captioning is off now. If it is, that's really weird because I didn't do anything. I don't think I did anyway. Yeah, so I think that was so like maybe you could run it off some kind of like a battery or something. I don't know. I never messed around with it. And then it's got a line out and a headphone jack. So the one thing I do remember for sure is that even when I didn't know anything about amps, and this is the only amp I had for reference, when you plugged headphones into this thing, it absolutely sounded terrible. I do remember that for sure. But the line out on it, I used to run the line out of this into a bigger amplifier, and it actually sounded good. Like the preamp in this sounds really good. I think it's just this speaker is crap, as I think was what the main thing is with it. All right, so I'm gonna plug this in. Man, none of this is going like quite how I envisioned it. I thought this was going to be like really cool, but I didn't expect I was going to have these problems. I thought I had them all worked out already, but whatever, man. All right, so on here on the front, we got our input jack here. Then we got our power switch over here. And we got a volume, master volume, treble, middle, and bass. And then we got this little switch here that says tube stack. So that tube stack's like an overdrive kind of a thing. All right, yeah, so let's, just going to put the EQ right dead in the middle. And so since we got a volume and a master volume and then this overdrive, our volume button is, or volume knob, I believe is going to be kind of treated as a like a gain. So let's just turn that up a little bit here, maybe about 10 o'clock, and then we'll adjust the master volume as needed. All right, let's fire her up. Oh, I didn't turn the power strip on. Okay. All right, well, it powered up and made a pop sound. All right, so turn the guitar here. Oop. All right, so it works. Your first amp was a pick you made, someone thought, threw it out with the patch cord attached. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So it was just a bad patch cord. All right. Also, and with all the confusion at the beginning, one thing I forgot to mention is that obviously we haven't got any tabs tonight because we're not doing like a lesson, but there is a link down in the description where you can download this like really cool free chord chart from Guitar Control. It's cool because it has, I mean, it obviously doesn't have every chord in the world, but it's got a voicing for every kind of chord, so that, you know, there's multiple voicings, you know, like, so you could play an E here, you could play it here or here, but so it just has, you know, maybe the more like common ones, but it has everything all on one, just on one regular sheet. And it's a PDF, so you can download it and print it off, and it's just really convenient because you just kind of have it wherever, you know. So if you have a chord that you need, boom, there it is. All right, so so far, this clean tone ain't real great. Let's try. The input jack, dirty. It doesn't feel loose, but it is crackly. Let's take some of the gain out. Actually, it doesn't sound too terribly bad. It's a little dry sounding because it doesn't have any kind of reverb or anything like that. I remember that was one thing I didn't like about it, and I didn't like that in order to be able to turn on the overdrive, you had to flip the switch and make some adjustments. You know, you had to turn the gain up if you wanted like a heavy sound. After this, the next piece of equipment I got, which I still have, and I could show you guys, I'd have to get it out, it's packed up somewhere, but it doesn't work is why I don't have it out, but it's a DoD Super Distortion, the big red Super Distortion, and anyhow, that was like my rig for a long time. And then when I actually started jamming with other people and went and tried to play with a drummer, I discovered really quickly that this isn't anywhere near loud enough to be able to be heard over a drum set. Yeah, see, it doesn't sound too bad there. I'm on the neck pickup. Here is on the bridge. The blend. doesn't sound too bad. The In this capacity, playing through this speaker, I think the only guitar that I ever played through it with was that Hondo. Because my second guitar, which I don't have anymore, I regret getting rid of, but it was a 1981 BC Rich Eagle, so it was a Bernie Rico, made out of koa. It was all neck through body. It was a beautiful guitar. But I don't think I ever played it through this amp because I had, well, with the exception of using the preamp out of this. I think that but as far as playing through the speaker, I think that was the only thing. So maybe that was part of it, is that Honda guitar wasn't a very good guitar and had really cheap electronics and stuff. And I got this is Seymour Duncan's in here, the Hot Rod set. I run in most of my guitars. Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. But back then, I would have probably 99% of the time would have always wanted to play with distortion. So that's where I remember it the most, and I just don't remember it really sounding all that great. But we're going to find out. All right, so we'll turn our master volume all the way down, and then I'm going to turn the gain up. Let's just try 50%, and then I'm going to flip the tube stack. No light came on or anything. I'm not going to remember if one did or didn't. Oh, it's on. That sounds more kind of like a fuzz to me than an overdrive. Yeah, that's a very kind of a fuzz sound. Doesn't sound good. I'm not really a big fan of fuzz. I like when I hear other people using it, but when I play, I don't like the way it sounds. Turn it up just a little bit more. It actually doesn't, I mean, had a little bit of reverb on there or something. It might sound all right. I had this really cool reverb pedal that I wanted to show you guys, and I don't know what the heck happened to it. I plugged in the AC adapter, and when I plugged it into the wall, it went pop, and a little smoke came out of it, and that was all she wrote. I took it apart, and I can't see anywhere where anything's burnt, but I don't really know anything about it. So that's kind of a drag. Yeah, so actually turning it up more, it doesn't sound too terribly bad, but like, again, not really my thing. I don't really care for the fuzz. I'm going to turn the gain down a little bit. Hello, Dan. Yeah, it's just so dry. All right, so now I'm going to try going up with a higher gain, get up more like I know it'll be the grand finale for the gain on this, but the way that I used to have it set up, I don't really like on any amp really per se now. But back then it was, you know, if this one goes to 11, then that's where we're gonna go. All right, so turn the master down, turn the gain up about 2 o'clock. Let's see what we got here. God, it's just so saturated sounding. Don't really like it. So here I backed my volume off on the guitar itself, cleaned it up a little bit, and it's actually a pretty good kind of AC/DC tone. Alright, go a little bit more gain. So here I've got it at about 3 o'clock, which is about where I have the gain on my Engel amp. You know, and I know we're comparing apples and oranges here, but let's just see what that's like. It's just such a saturated sound. I just can't even imagine that I used to sit and play through this like this. All right, so the way that I had it set up, and remember, like I said, this was 1984, so I was like 13 years old, 13, 14 maybe when this was all going down, and at that point in time I was like really into Motley Crue and Twisted Sister and Kiss and just stuff like that. So that's all I wanted to play was that kind of a thing. And so what I would do is I would turn the gain all the way up. So I had it turned up all the way to 10, and then I would have my treble over at about 2 o'clock, and I think the bass was about there. It might have been a little more. We'll start there. But the mid, I would scoop the mid, so I had the mid down to about 10. That just sounds terrible. It sounds, an old friend of mine said this about an amp way back in the day that we played through, or one he owned or something, or maybe we could have been talking about this, I don't remember, but he said that it sounded like a gas can, like an old school metal gas can full of angry bees. So the bees are buzzing in this in this metal gas can, and that's why it sounds the way that it does. It's awful. And it was about, the bass was more at about 3 o'clock. I can hear that in there now. It just sounds absolutely atrocious. But maybe with on the clean channel with or even with the overdrive one, if it was, you know, dialed in right, but it was some kind of a pedal, you know, some kind of an overdrive pedal, and then a reverb or something just to kind of make it so it's not so dry, it might really sound good. So that might be something maybe that, you know, we can do in the future, is that we can experiment with this and try to see if we can make this old amp, you know, sound like up to today's standards. But going through that speaker, I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that going out of, if we use the preamp on this into something else, it's going to sound a whole bunch better. So those are some things that we could do, like in a future stream, if anybody is interested. All right, so yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to work with this, and none of this has worked out the way that I planned it to or wanted it to and stuff. So you know, hope you guys will bear with me. You know, we're, you know, trying to do these new things like this, and it's not just, you know, a simple thing. Like, if any of you are doing, you know, if any of you out there work with, you know, video editing or broadcasting, and you've used OBS Studio, then you know what I'm talking about. It's like, it's not very user friendly, and I am super technologically impaired in the first place, so it's kind of tough. But yeah, as usual, we can do a you know, Q&A. So if anybody has any guitar, you know, questions and stuff about, you know, just whatever, ask away. Yeah, I just can't believe how bad. Okay, yeah, Jersey. Yeah, I'm still going to be doing stuff like that. It's not going to always be like this. It's going to still be, you know, lessons on a riff or a song or a technique, you know, whatever. I'm just trying to mix it up and have a variety of things, you know, to kind of try to make it a little bit more entertaining. Dan. Yeah, as far as a lot of that stuff with pedals, I honestly don't. I'm far from being an expert on it. I don't even use pedals. When I did, I had that super distortion, and I had an AB box that I could use to route through the preamp on this, because like I said, this thing isolated on the overdrive channel, but through a bigger cabinet, I used to think sounded good, but I can't remember. I'll get some stuff set up, you know, for the future with this, and we can kind of do some different things with it. But anyway, back then I had those pedals. I had the distortion pedal, I had a chorus or a flanger pedal, and a delay, and then the AB box to go around this. And the amp that I had did not have an effects loop or anything. It was just plugged straight in. And then by the time I started getting into, you know, like bigger, you know, like more like professional type equipment, I had the ADA MP1. I still have the power amp that you can see that behind there, that right above it, it says ADA in white there. That's the power amp. I still use that. I have two of them actually. But anyway, by the time I got to there, I had a rack mount effects processor, and I was doing everything with MIDI switching. So as far as like putting the stuff, you know, which stuff goes through the effects loop and goes in front, I really don't know a whole lot about it. So yeah, I mean that's a great idea, but it just yeah, I'm just that's just not really was never really my thing. I've always been more. I like an amp that I can just plug into and turn it on without having to have any pedals or anything, and have it sound good. And that's why I like the Engel and the Boogie triple rectifier, the 5150. There's lots of amps that just sound killer without having to have any pedals or anything. Had that and a little bit of reverb, and I'm happy. Yeah, pedals can get crazy. I've watched just a few videos of people who've built these just ridiculously huge pedal boards. Our bass player used to be in this cover band, and their guitar player had a pedal board that was made out of a sheet of plywood. I am not exaggerating. It was like it was ridiculous. You had to take 2 steps to get one side. I think it was a half sheet of plywood, not a full sheet. But anyway, it had like a million pedals on there. When I see a big pedal board, I always just think, what are we trying to compensate for? But then again, there's guys like Tom Morello and stuff that really utilize them and almost use them like they're an instrument. Let's see. Chord from guitar to right side of pedal, left side out to amp. If that's where the ins and outs are. I have actually seen them where they were the other way around. I had a distortion pedal that was I can't remember what the brand was, but it was like the house brand of like Montgomery Ward, or no, it was Sears. It actually came from Sears, I think, or was it Montgomery Ward? I don't know. It was some department store, just cheap, crappy thing. And anyway, the input and output on it was on the opposite side of all the other pedals I had, so I had to make like loop around it. It was kind of a pain in the butt. Are processors the way to go now? Well, again, I mean, it's all subject to opinion. For me, with the pedal board thing, now you can buy a pedal board. It's got a built-in power supply. Everything's all nice and neat. Well, I made my pedal board and I did a good job, but it was still a big pain in the ass to have to haul it around because 600 cords to unplug and stuff like that. With the processor, the FX processor that I got, and it's a dinosaur, but it still has a good reverb in it, so I still use it. But you just go through, get everything set up in it, save it as a patch, and then have a MIDI controller. Or this one you could do it with MIDI, or it actually has just like little like regular foot switches, so it's like you have pedals anyway. Actually, what I use now for the most part is a Boss GT8. When the GT10 came out, my local Guitar Center had a GT8 that had been the floor model, and so they had it on clearance for super, super cheap. So my girlfriend bought it for me for Valentine's Day, I think, and I'll never go back. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. You can run direct. It sounds really good, and they've got ones now that are even better. If you can get like a Fractal or something like that. But this thing is old, but it still works really good. So I ain't worried about like upgrading it or anything. Oh yeah, there's like tons and tons and tons of different things you can do with the guitar. All the synths and just different stuff, and the technology gets better just about daily. A lot of this stuff you buy, and by the time you get it home, it's outdated, just like your cell phone and your computer and your TV and everything else. Yeah, that is just so. And I'm sure a lot of it is just the size of that speaker. It'll be interesting when I do hook it up to, because what I'm going to do is, and I would do it right now, but it'd probably take me an hour to find all the chords and crap I need to do it. But I'm just going to run it through my ADA, but not this one. This one's actually got a problem. But I have another one that I can run it through, and then I'm going to run it into that Blue Voodoo cab that's behind here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a Voodoo 412 cab there. So I'll run through that and see how it sounds, because like I said, it sounded, I thought that it sounded good, because I mean, I used that in my rig, just the preamp part of it, until 1989, because in '89 I bought a Fender M80, and I still have that too. I'll bust that out and show you guys one of these days. But I used that for I don't know, a couple of years, and then I got my 80A MP1, and I wish I still had that. I mean, I can do everything that I can get the sound that it made out of all this stuff I've got. I just kind of liked it. It was just kind of a cool amp. I wanted one because Paul Gilbert from was in Racer X at that time. Well, I guess he still is, but that was like the big gig, and that's what they used, was the 80 MP1, and I thought it sounded really cool. Yeah, the VT20 is a really awesome amp. And yeah, and I have a looper that I don't really use. I need to, because I'd really like to learn how to use it, but I'm lazy and I procrastinate everything. But yeah, that's how I feel with the M80 or the GT8. I've had it for, well, probably close to 15 years, I would guess, and there are still things that I can't figure out how to do, or I didn't know that it would do. The owner's manual for it looks like the Los Angeles phone book. I mean, it's like this thick, and you know, the first 100 pages are just, you know, telling you know not to use it in the shower and crap like that, because they have to, you know, protect their ass against dumb people. But it was really complicated. It's not a very user-friendly interface to use, but I really like it. And Silvio, the other guy on the channel that does like a lot of the shorts, the shred, you know, he does a lot of the shreddy stuff. He uses a GT8 also. He's got his dialed in way better than me. He understands how to do it more than I do. But just for me, I'm just super lazy, and I don't want to be bothered with it. Yeah, just sounds like a gas can full of angry bees. Yeah, I know, Jersey. I've looked at those before. I've had a couple of students that have had them, and they have a lot of stuff, and they can, you know, they're, I don't know, they're complicated. They can be complicated. Our old guitar player, he had a Line 6 head that I think it was tube, but then it also had like this solid state presets thing on it, and it was so complicated. And I screwed around with it one day for like 2 or 3 hours, and I got all these sounds dialed in, and you could switch the channels, and it worked. And then we shut it off, and we came to rehearsal. Next time we turned it on, all gone. Had to start over again, and I was just, I hate all this stuff with technology. That's why it's nice to have an amp like my Engel. You just plug into it, and you know, you don't have to do anything else, and it just sounds really good. And it doesn't have any choices on it other than just, you know, bass, middle, treble. It has a couple of different types of gain, and then a low and a high mid section, so it's like you can really dial in the mid. All right, so does anybody else have any questions or anything? The next time that I do something like, you know, with an amp or whatever, well, I shouldn't say the next time because you never know, but my plan in the next time is that I don't want anybody thinking that you can't get a good sound, you know, from a small sized amp like this, or that an amp has. I should say rather that there aren't any small amps that sound good. You have to have a big one, and that's just not the case. I actually have an amp that's smaller than this, and it sounds absolutely amazing. I just play through it all the time. It's like my favorite amp. It's just my go-to amp because it doesn't have the ability to do presets, and it doesn't have the ability to do any foot switching and stuff. So it's mainly, you know, just for practice or whatever. And it's only got a little speaker in it, and it sounds killer. Yeah, magnets. Yeah, I'm sure that's. I mean, the speaker that's in this, it doesn't have any kind of a name on it or anything like as far as a brand that I could see. So I'm sure it's just an El Cheapo speaker. But yeah, we'll see what it sounds like going through through a cab, and you know, just kind of play around with it, see if we can get it to sound good in the future. What is the easiest thing to learn on an electric guitar? Well, do you mean as far as being able to, like, something that you can actually just play that's easy? Probably the the riff, the riff, the one everybody, you know, everybody's first riff, Smoke on the Water. And I am going to turn some of this gain down because holy crap. All right, so yeah, you learn to play Smoke on the Water. We're only going to be playing the center two strings, so just your two center strings. And so you're going to pick them together like that. So you're going to play them open. Then you're going to go to the 3rd fret, still just on those two strings. Then to the 5th fret. So open 3 5, open 3 6 5, open 3 5 3 open. So if you just work with that. Now, ideally, you wouldn't want to just do it with one finger like that. I just mostly did that so you could see for sure where I was at. And if you are, you know, if you're totally green, that might be easier to do it that way anyway. Oh, okay, you need encouragement. Yeah, don't be discouraged. I mean, you're in the golden age of learning how to play guitar. When I, you know, started out, and it was, you know, like with this amp and everything, I didn't have, you know, YouTube that I could go on and find somebody that's already set the thing up. I actually looked for it on YouTube, and there's a bunch of videos on it, but they're mostly like, you know, younger people doing like a reaction video or just checking it out, and they have no, you know, they don't have any previous experience with it or whatever. But yeah, so anyhow, there was no finding tutorials. You know, there was no internet, so it was just by trial and error, and then if you met other people that could set it up, kind of a thing. And I was kind of a dumb kid. I was really hard-headed, and I would set it up, and I'm like, that's the way it should be. And if somebody else came along and said, hey, if we did this, it might sound better, I just wouldn't even listen to them because I was just a hard-headed, dumb kid. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, so that's it. I thought it would just be kind of fun to show you guys this. Like I said, I didn't think it was going to start off this way, and kind of, you know, the train went off the rails a little bit at first, and then that gets my anxiety up, and then nothing's good from there on out. But we pulled through it. But yeah, so if you like if you want to see more, content, like, like I said, where I'll do stuff with this amp to try to see if it can kind of get a modern sound out of it, or a better sound for that matter. Uh, I shouldn't say a modern sound, because good tone is good tone. It doesn't, Hendrix's tone is older than me, and it still sounds really good. Yeah, but anyway, if you like that, then leave me a comment. Leave a comment saying that, yeah, I'd like to, you'd like to see some more stuff like that. And if you like, what I'm doing, hit the the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. All that helps with the algorithm and helps me to keep a job. So so do it, please. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody that came out, and I appreciate anybody that was here from the very beginning and stuck through that first few minutes of eternity when I couldn't get anything to work correctly. Yeah, so again, thanks for for coming out, and enduring it with me. And yeah, so like I said, if you do want to see more stuff with this, leave a comment, because I don't want to do content like this if nobody cares about it. And they'll get better, give me a break. It's the first time I've tried doing this, so I apparently don't know what I'm doing, but I'm getting there. I'm learning. I learned a lot just from actually doing this in the first 10 minutes, more than I did with the 2 hours that I screwed around with it last week after, if you were here for last week's incident. All right. Well, again, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next stream. Have a great night, everybody.